Tonight on the podcast, what has happened in 2025? What are we looking forward to for 2026? And who's overtaking Tesla as the biggest EV maker?
Hello everybody, welcome to the first pilot of the AAS podcast. Today we are joined with Ben Wybrow and James Avent. And today we are just going to be talking about some random aren't we?
Already demonetized.
Yeah. Oh god.
Do you know what? I don't care. This is the pilot, so I don't care what we do. So you've already heard it in the intro, we're just going to be talking about what happened in 2025, what's going to be happening in 2026, and we're just going to go on from there really and just talk about some new car news. So, right, let's get started, shall we? So, what's the first thing do we want to talk about, Ben?
Well, we're looking at the 2025 recap. So car sales. Obviously, everybody knows, whoever lives in the UK, everywhere is just electric vehicles, hybrids and SUVs, or like the little SUVs that no one likes but everyone buys. So statistics-wise, SUVs are still the most popular car. EV sales grew, but not as fast as what people predicted. Cost of living is obviously still affecting the budgeting decisions because no one can afford a new car, so everyone's just buying used. But still, if they're buying cars, it's always the best deal wins in terms of oh come on, brain, kick into gear. Still the best
Leasing deals?
Kai's gonna have to do so much editing. Yeah, so it's still decent deals wins mentality in terms of if you can get the price lower, you can. Obviously, finance is still a major thing in the UK because no one can afford to spunk £50,000 on a new car.
No.
And that's for features that don't even exist on a car. You're just paying for plastic at this point.
Well, yeah, you're paying for minimalistic design, which is touchscreens, no buttons, and at this point in a Tesla, no indicator stalks.
BMW heated seats.
Yeah.
Which we can talk about.
Oh yeah, that's another thing I just wanted to quickly touch on as well. When they previously did a subscription to heat up your seats in your car.
Did that get got?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if that doesn't continue.
It's just...
I just wanted to know what went into the boardroom of BMW at that point, where they decided, oh, I know, a good idea. Let's get people to pay to heat up their own seats.
Because BMW drivers would.
Yeah, that and also cut other motorists and not indicate. So they can do other things.
They can do it in style with heated bums.
Heated.
Yes, but going back to the SUVs as well, I'm still surprised a load of people are buying SUVs nowadays because it's been proven time and time again the smaller cars are better because they've got the same crash protection, safety. If anything, they're more economical. They've got more performance, and if anything, they just do the same four-wheel drive because most modern SUVs they go into limp mode whenever you just go on a piece of dirt.
Just from. Anyway.
Yeah, the problem is no one in the UK actually drives on a piece of dirt apart from farmers, or us when we go through country lanes and
sea roads.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. So because they're not going off-road, why are they buying SUVs?
Because it's the practicality of it. In all fairness, because they've got it's just the bigger cars, and also every Chinese import at the moment is all big cars. Like you've got the BYD, you've got the JQ, you've got the what's the other one that sits in with Honda?
Omoda. Omoda, yeah.
Omoda. You've got the MGs, and you see an MG every 5 seconds.
Yeah, because I know because Omoda and JQ are part of the same Chinese company, Cherry, I believe. And they just make the exact same things, like the rip-off Range Rover, for example, and one that just looks like a complete bubble of a car.
Yeah, but the problem is people are buying those because they're stupidly cheap, and obviously that they're all classed as SUVs because they're massive. So that's why the SUVs are going up. Because, well, even when you think about the grand scheme of things, when you look at the new car market, 90% of it is an SUV or a people carrier sized car, like an MPV.
Even
There
they're starting to
isn't
die.
a lot without going into.
Even they're
Pardon?
starting to die. The MPVs. That used to be a big 2000s, late 90s push.
Yeah.
You know, with your Renault Scenic, your Zefiras, and I think they're great. I think they're great.
Yeah.
And actually, I tell you what, I think again, and there's maybe another thing we can talk about, maybe in a future episode. I'd like to talk about Japanese minivans and like their way of being able to get so many people and so much things into such a tiny footprint of a car is brilliant. I don't know why
Yeah.
we haven't adopted it in the UK, but I think it's because I don't know. There's a lot of politics on the side of it, but we're not a political channel. But
Yeah.
there is.
And I think it's mainly because as well, like in the UK, there's like you said, there's a lot more restrictions and like politics involved as well. But also, I think car companies currently are just currently looking at the most popular things going on, and because like SUVs were a relatively new thing, like back in like 2010s or something, because they were new, they've just been getting more popular ever since. Even though, from what I can tell, there's just no actual good reason to buy an SUV, but it's just been increasing ever since, and they're just following that path to get more sales and money.
Crossovers in the way that we've
Well,
gone from,
yeah,
we-
it's just going to go up and up and
we've
up.
gone from crossover. It's remember it's all about I think not just us in SUVs, but what they call the crossover, where it's basically as I've got an Ibiza, people just jack the Ibiza up, and then you end up with the Arona, I think it is, and it's just a jacked up Ibiza,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have any more space. In fact, it's probably even got less.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to say. Because it's all good that some SUVs do have a little bit of space, but like Ben said, but from what I've experienced, if anything, they're a little bit more cramped because there's just more safety features, and like I don't know. Like for example, with the Minis, for example, I don't know if you've seen, excuse me, some pictures, but like the old like small Minis. Not even like the 1960 ones, but like the early 2000 ones. Like they had quite a bit of room, but then you got the Mini Countryman, where if anything, they've got even less room in an even bigger car profile.
Yeah, I mean the problem is the safety standards and stuff like that within Europe and the UK have gone up massively, and I don't think countries like America and Japan and stuff like that have the same as us, because we've obviously got NCAP ratings and all of that.
Yeah.
I mean that's a whole reason why we never got the Cybertruck over here, because it is a death machine, and I think
I wouldn't
that's
want a
why
Cybertruck in the UK anyways.
I would, to laugh at one.
It's only going to be allowed to go on the M4 because of the width restrictions of every other road.
Yeah, it won't even go, like if for example, even if the Tesla like Model X can't even go across Albert Bridge, like with the width restriction, imagine the Cybertruck doesn't go across Albert Bridge. It's just gonna impale every car thanks to its sharp design.
You won't get onto the Cotswolds.
Oh god, I can't imagine a Cybertruck in the Cotswolds. It's like the most wrong
Get one
thing
guy-
I've ever could imagine.
Yeah, get one going down the lanes that we went down.
Like Green Lane.
God.
Mazda.
Yeah.
So,
You have to
Oh
accept it.
man.
But yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I just think, and I reckon as well, like from the 2025 UK car sales, I reckon 2026 is going to be the exact same. Although, the electric vehicle side might decrease a little bit, because I think we're going to get into this soon as well. But with the electric vehicles, like with the car sales, it was quite big in 2025. But I think people are starting to realize as well that electric cars may not be necessarily the future.
It's not one. It's one option, isn't it? But there's other options to the future.
Yeah, no, it is still the future, but the problem is, I think the timeline that they expected for implementation was wrong. And now that the UK government thinks that this stupid pay per mile scheme is how it's going to work, is going to deteriorate lots of people from getting electric cars.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah,
exactly what they were
couldn't
against
agree
doing.
more. Yeah.
It's exactly why did they? They had all the incentives. I think you had a grant. Was it back 2014, something like that? You had your grants, you had your all of that when people buy an i3s. Okay, electric cars were more in their infancy and they could only do about 15 miles on electric range. So you might as well get a mobility scooter. But the thing is that it's like, well, why you put a paper mile on that? Oh, it's to go against what was it? Because they look at it and they look at fuel duty or something, but there's not nothing to do with it. Like, fuel duty is set differently. I don't know. I just don't think this government understands what they want from people from cars, unless you start going into other routes where they don't want people driving. But that's another thing for another time.
Well,
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Actually, like it's like we are just stuck on deciding on what we want exactly, because it's like the EV market and just the rules and the regulations are just all over the place in the minute.
I mean, yeah, they're just gonna look at what makes the most money, anyways.
Yeah.
They're less about the people and more about just making sure that they bring in enough money to keep this country going.
Yeah, but I think that's actually going to move nicely on to basically what's going to be happening with what's happening now with the for example, the EU abandons the 2025 combustion engine plan, so
2035.
2035, yeah, because I think previously they were going to do it until 2030, but then they delayed it a little bit, didn't they?
Yeah, and I think now they're kind of I'm not sure whether they've completely gone against it, but I think a lot of people are prompting them to relook at it, because it's obviously not feasible. It's I mean, yeah, as I said earlier, the EVs are still the future and they're not failing, but the timeline for it was just ridiculous, and that we haven't been taught the longevity of them, especially now that we've got these Chinese brands coming in that are literally just doing it for a profit and kicking the big names like Toyota and stuff like that out that are known for longevity and known for reliability, and they're just going with whatever's going to make them the most amount of money.
Yeah, because just I mean, look at on here for example, I could just, but you know what though, my opinion, I'm glad this is happening because okay, electric vehicles have been getting a lot better as well, but the problem is as well, making an electric car is really harmful to the environment as well, because imagine the amount of power plants, the amount of electricity you're going to be using. You got to have the power plants to make the things, which is going to cause a lot of pollution. And then with the electric charging grids, it's going to reduce a lot of our electricity. We're going to use a lot of our electricity for just the charging stations, and we're going to have to then import electricity, which is going to make everything a lot more expensive. Whilst you've got options for the internal combustion engine, synthetic fuels, or even hydrogen, for example, where it's just nowhere near as bad for the environment as EVs. And yeah, in my opinion, I'm glad that they've they kind of gone back on that.
Yeah, definitely. I can see the whole point of it, but also at the same time that we don't have the infrastructure in place, and even though you can go to your local Asda and you can charge, there's 3 charging bays at the local Asda that's got 250 car parking spaces, and if you've got 80% of the cars on the road are now electric vehicles, you need a better ratio, and also you need that, and also for people that don't have driveways or whatever and live in blocks of flats and having to park on the road, that there's no good implementation for charging yet, without either putting a cable across a path, which is obviously a hindrance to anyone that is blind or in a wheelchair, or even pushing a pram, and then you've got ugly solutions that are poles that you put up and over the path, which all it takes is for someone to walk into it, and then it collapses down and smashes into your car, and then your brand new £50,000 Tesla is got a massive scratch along the side.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I can definitely see where you're coming from there, because it's just we just don't have the infrastructure for it, and even if you do try and get the infrastructure back, we're still not going to be ready, because from other statistics I've heard, we're using 5% electricity less than what we can actually cope with, and that's just a small amount. So imagine if we suddenly spout out charging stations for not just 3 bays but 250 bays in the car parking lot, or in service stations and driveways and stuff. We're just not going to cope. And Yeah,
or an
and also
entire
as well,
estate,
yeah,
an entire estate of houses that have got, imagine that's what's probably going to happen. Isn't it? You think they're all like new estates that can be built, housing estates. They're all going to want to have people going to want to have electric vehicle charging points on their homes. Think about how much power that is. That's a lot of power to be
Yeah,
generated. And then
the
they have some further things as well.
um,
Sorry,
oh yeah. I mean, the plus side of that is most new builds nowadays are being built with solar panels on top, which obviously isn't going to take all the load, but it's going to take a significant amount of the load away.
it will
Especially
help.
with how hot our summers are going, and if they're going to keep complaining about global warming, then why aren't we looking at things that utilise that to our advantage to generate more power?
I agree with home power generation. I think that's we need to be looking at more on a maybe like a neighbourhood level of solar and like renewables. I agree with that. The problem is that have you guys seen the weather recently in the winter? Think about how
we've
much
had
power
the
you're
game weather.
generating.
Yeah,
Think
But
about
then-
the problems of
but then you've got wind, and you've got the ability to use hydro. Hydro never stops in the year. Wind, I mean, we've had pretty bad wind, so utilise that.
but then
Um,
there can be equally there can be be surprised there can be too much wind. If there's too much wind, they can't run a wind turbine because they'll risk to damage it.
Yeah, for example,
well,
like with
maybe
what's
someone
happened in
needs to look at
Cornwall
making
recently
better
with
wind turbines.
Yeah.
The Chinese, I can tell you that. So what way to juice from everything? They're not going to be made in Britain.
No,
Well,
we would
yeah,
not
obviously
allow it.
not.
Like the amount of restrictions, the amount of like we're not riots, but like protests we get for saying like oh you're ruining the environment and stuff. And that's true actually. I don't want the environment to be ruined because like if we just get a load of these like windmills and solar panels, not only are they potentially not going to work when it comes to like strong winds, and you need to have like perfect wind, which is never going to happen, but also it's just not going to make the country look nice overall.
I mean, the country don't look nice anyway, so at this point. There's
That is
you're
fair
getting
enough, actually.
new builds put up. Well, you're getting new builds put up everywhere that are like they look like they've been smashed together in about 2 hours.
It's because
Like
they have
your
been
flat
smashed
packs.
together in 2 hours.
They're like
Yeah,
your
they've
flat
got
packs, a lot of them.
Finance vehicle on the driveway
Mm.
with a fake barrier that stops it from being stolen. And it's
It just does fuck all.
Yeah, it is just bonkers the state that this country's going. And I mean, we're putting solar panels onto farms. Why are we not putting solar panels on top of car parks? No one
Yeah.
needs a sun in their car park. Actually, people don't want sun in the car parks because then your car gets really hot, and if you've got a red car made by Stellantis, it will fade. So
It will.
you want put it over car parks, generate that. I mean, when you think of like the local like shopping centre car park is massive. Even if they covered half of that with solar panels, that's probably enough then to generate the electricity that shopping centre actually uses. So then you're taking that load off of the local national grid and allowing that to compensate for whatever else is being put in. Because, yeah, we're going to say about electric vehicles and stuff like that, but houses are going up anyways. Houses are going to be going up, and you've got, like, everyone boils a kettle at the same time. Because that's how adverts work. And I know it's not the same anymore because not everybody watches TV, but everybody still eats dinner at the same time. So you're still using 3 kilowatt ovens at the same time, or an air fryer, or a toaster. You're still using that at the exact same time. So maybe it's less than that, and we actually need to look at why the infrastructure can't cope when they've had so much advance warning of the growth that was going to happen in this country, with just obviously not with just people immigrating over here, but just the population going up anyway. It's from birth rates and stuff like that. Why have they had these plans to build new houses for 20, 30 years, but actually no one's thought, well, why can't the power grid cope with it?
Yeah, exactly. And there's also an idea as well, which it does actually exist, but nobody, especially in the UK, has implemented it yet, and I do not understand. There's these things now where you can have transparent solar panels that you can use as windows on buildings. Because from what I've seen, like from loads of videos on the internet, it's basically the exact same as a window, where it's completely clear and stuff, but it can actually generate power. So if they are worried about, like but not being able to cope with the power grid and stuff. Why don't they just, instead of like use all the restrictions and stuff, why not just implement those into like the new builds, like the houses or like new businesses and stuff? So then, if we do have, like, if that can happen, we can have the grid supply to then charge our electric cars.
Well, yeah, especially when you
Definitely
consider
interesting.
the size of some buildings being built nowadays, especially in places like London city centre and Manchester and all that lot, when they're like several stories high, and yet
Yeah,
they don't use anything to their advantage of being a massive building.
yeah, exactly. Why not use that advantage to put in the brand new, like, solar panel windows, and then as soon as you do that, we are going to start looking in a lot better shape. But I doubt that's going to happen for a long time, just because of the amount of restrictions and like like everything that's going to happen on the internet. Because you know how social media like spreads everything. As soon as like something new or something comes out, there's always going to be someone in there just going like, "This is awful. Why not do this?" And as soon as they do that, everyone's going to rally behind them, and then just make the UK go back, and they'll listen to those kind of stuff. Yet they won't listen to the actual stuff we need. I think I'm going a bit off topic here, but like, you get what I mean, though. Like, if you want to have a good power grid, just implement new stuff rather than just like stay safe and restricted.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. But yeah, no, we are getting a bit off topic. We've gone from combustion engines to all the way to electrical power
Buildings.
grids.
Yeah.
Buildings.
But
And new
well,
built houses and cookers and stuff.
well, the grid is linked. I think it is worth talking about it because it's interesting
Yeah.
to say that if the grid can cope with the supply of electric vehicles and things coming up, then what chance do people have of wanting to get into electric cars? I think that is there are things, but I personally think that when I said about synthetics earlier, that is the stopgap, and actually also more crucially for us, it allows us to get into our V12s and our V8s and our V6s, and
Oh,
everything
yeah.
is better than a three-cylinder. Well, I know
Like
three-cylinder
1.5
or
liter PHEV hybrid that just
Yeah.
blows up every 2 hours.
Yeah, but then at least it will give you a better chance of having you're keeping your engines for longer. You're the ones that you want. So I hope
Yeah.
that the synthetics start. They already exist. I'm not sure if anyone here watches Harry Metcalf, but he's really good. He's currently using I can't remember the name of the fuels now, but he's supplying them for all of his. They work on his classic cars. He's got his collection's amazing. It's definitely worth looking at, and he runs them mostly. I think 90% synthetic. So it's
Yeah.
definitely a future for it. And I know this stuff's really expensive, but if we kept on that adoption for the synthetic fuels, and they already use it in racing, I think, as well. I mean, obviously
Yeah,
F1
they
trying
use
to
it
do
in
it,
Formula One.
and Le Mans, I think, in LMP series, or WEC. I'm sure they use it. So why it can't trickle down, and I really hope in the next 5-10 years it does. Because then that will
Yeah.
also mean that there's more choice. Because I think that's the important thing. It's not just, I don't want, and this is the thing that I think annoys a lot of people, I don't want to be pressured just into getting an electric car. I'd like to be able to try and hang on to what I've got to keep that going as efficient as I can. Because surely that's also better for the environment to be able to keep hold of what I've got. Surely it's more efficient to keep a 1995 completely base trim Fiesta running for 35, 40 years than it is to buy a brand new Chinese EV. What do you
Yeah,
think?
exactly. Yeah. Oh, and speaking of the
Yeah, that doesn't
Fiesta
make
as
money.
well. Yeah.
It doesn't
Speaking
make
of the
no, it's
Fiesta
not,
as
it doesn't
well,
make
another topic that we need to talk about is the new Fiestas, because we've heard, like, it was like a year ago, that the Focus and the Fiesta are now not in production anymore, which is obviously
Yeah,
like,
that-
what the fuck are you doing, Ford? That's like the most popular car you're doing. But now apparently they're returning with a new car where they're collaborating with Renault.
Well, I guess if you're gonna revive an old retro brand, Renault's the one to do it because they've done it successfully with the Renault 5.
Yeah, but that was with their own car. And remember, Renault is part of Stellantis as well. So imagine like a Ford Fiesta, which is co-owned by Stellantis as well. I feel like this is going to flop.
It will
Yeah.
100% flop because they'll just. I mean, I've already seen the things that that they've drafted up for it, and it looks horrific. It looks
Yeah.
like a squashed Ford Explorer.
It does, yeah.
without looking
And look at
like a
and for
police
example
car.
as well, yeah, for example, as well, look at the like the Renault 5, because I will say I do actually really like the Renault 5, but then Nissan decided to join in with Renault and make the new Micra, and my God, that thing is hideous. Like it's got the body shape, and it is it's got the certain body shape of the Renault 5, but it's got like the looks of a GM. What's that car called?
Great
The
Wall
General
Motor.
Motors Cat, like the cat car or something.
Oh,
Oh,
no, it just looks like a squashed down Alpine. In all fairness,
it's
Yeah,
on
I
the
did.
same
I did.
platform.
I have seen one in the flesh because when I did Formula E last year, they were all about advertising it. Then the new Micra and the new Leaf. And
Yeah, I don't.
they literally look like Ford Pumas in real life, the electric ones, and they aren't small either, so they can't really use the name Micra because they aren't small.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure how to feel about that. So when we heard that the Ford is doing the Fiesta, it's good that you're doing the Fiesta, but for God's sake, if you collaborate with Renault, don't like fuck it up and make it so like the engine explodes every two like zeptoseconds.
Well, it's got no engine in it;
and
it's electric.
okay, well there you go then. Like okay, the electric, but yeah, okay, well yeah, if they're gonna make it electric, they're gonna make it reliable, have a good long range, and also change the looks, please, because I do not like the look of that new Fiesta, which I will put the picture up on the edits, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Well,
it's not a good look.
they're going to use the same body, not body. Was it the same
Platform.
frame in that lot that was platform that was used on the Renault 5? So hopefully that will mean that reliability wise and whatever it will follow suit.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the looks will probably all be down to Ford, and we all know that Ford makes ugly cars.
Yeah, especially with their new ones, like you said, with the Explorer and stuff, and the electric Puma as well. I never knew they did an electric Puma until recently, and I much prefer the internal combustion engine one because, yeah, I don't know. I think the main problem with electric cars is just there is no grille. If you know what I mean, it just looks a bit odd.
I don't even think it's the grille. I just think it's the fact that they're trying to be modern and aerodynamic, and it just looks horrible.
Yeah, I know it's not my kind of thing. I will say.
I mean, look at the first EV that they did, which was the Mustang Mach E. First off, they ruined a really
God.
good name, which is Mustang. A Mustang will always be a 5-liter V8 because that's what you think of as a Mustang. They put a stupid, ugly front on it. It had horrible range. It used to just literally the electronics would just stop working. And at that point, nowhere had the infrastructure for electric vehicles. It used to be a bug catcher, is what the name for the front grille. Well, what isn't a front grille on it used to be what the name of the Marquee was, because you drive it for like 10 minutes up and down the road, and then you'd have like the front would just be plastered in bugs.
Yeah.
So it's trying to go for looks, whereas like the newer ones look better, not great. But I think Ford's design department has all been sacked.
Yeah. I
Because
wouldn't be
they all
surprised.
suck now.
Although
I mean,
yeah.
even the Mustang doesn't even look that good anymore.
Apart from the Dark Horse, I do actually quite like the new Dark Horse. I think that's quite good. But I think that's the only Mustang that I think is kind of good looking. Although I am going to get a lot of mixed opinions on this, and I think you will disagree with me on this. But I have to respect the Mackie because that is the reason we still got an internal combustion Mustang with a V8.
I think the day
Ford
that they say that they're going to stop production of a V8 Mustang is the day that Ford will die.
Yeah, I reckon so because I think the Fiesta and the Mustang were the things that were still keeping them up and like keeping them like a really popular brand because it's local here. Yeah, we can still have all the we can have the V8 sports car, the Mustang, and yeah, a really economical, a bit shit, but also an economical, small car, and that suited all audiences. So the fact that they've banned a Fiesta for an electric Fiesta, which is going to cost like 30 grand at least, which is going to be really expensive for a small car, that's going to not do any favours for them. So they need to try and stick with the V8 Mustangs. And I think that's what needs to happen.
Yeah, 100%. But we can't predict Ford, and knowing Ford, it will probably all go wrong, and they'll make horrible cars.
Yeah.
Can I
So
just mention a car that you guys have forgotten, mate?
go on
What have we
then.
forgotten about?
Oh, the Capri. Oh my. Yeah. That. Okay. That. Yeah. That is awful.
So
Yeah.
that is Ford's biggest. I think that's their biggest.
Flop.
Fuck up.
Well, I'm going to say it's their biggest middle finger to their own customers. I think a bit like with the Jaguar incident, which we could probably talk about in a bit with the 00.
Oh, we'll definitely be talking about that.
0069.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think the Ford is just completely, I think because they've been doing it for ages, they do bring back old names and they reuse them. I think, what was it, there's another one as well, I can't remember. Oh, when you talk about the Puma. So I keep thinking about, someone's got a Mark 1 Puma up the road and I think that looks so much better.
It does look good.
It's amazing. It's amazing, and it's even
They're
based
still
on
they're still fugly cars. Let's be honest.
they're still a bit ugly.
It's better than a new Puma.
Yeah, but you're not going to get a 1.8 in a new Puma, are you? And
No,
also,
not really.
I think they're great
Um,
little sports cars. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is Ford is just they need to know what their market is. Need to know their customers and keep going back to that. I think this is a really important thing, a really important trend. Companies need to know their customers, make sure they do it right. But these cars are just still massive. I just really think that I think the way forward is just look at the Japanese. I think they know what they're doing. That's my take on it. But
yeah, like here's my view. So if they want to make making these kind of cars, fine. But don't use the old names. There was the opposite stuff. If you are going to use the old names, you need to use it correctly, like Renault did with the Renault 5. 5?
Yeah.
5? Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
I had a bit of a brain
Well,
fart for a second. Yeah.
they got
do
the 4 and the 5. No?
Yeah, 4 and the 5. Yeah, do what they did with the Renault 5 and stuff. Yeah, it's a bit bigger, but it's still harped back to the original design and not made into an SUV or even a crossover because it's still a hatchback. What they should have done with the Capri is make like a sports hatchback. They should have done the Capri as like a small, sporty, hot hatchback. If they want to go electric, fine, because if that's the future we're going to head to, we got no choice. But they're going to make the design good at least and not into a SUV and just ruin the entire name.
You should stop using old names. I think that would help the Ford's brand significantly. You should stop bringing back old names. So everyone knows what a Capri looks. I mean, okay, maybe I know we're the younger generation. I know what a Capri looks like. They look cool. It's the UK Mustang. It's the European Mustang. Is the Capri. So stop doing it. Stop bringing them back with the old names. Just create new names.
Yeah, after what we just said, like going back to the Ford Fiesta,
Exactly.
please do not muck it up, Ford. I'm talking to the camera right now. Ford, do not muck this up, okay? If you're going to collaborate with Renault, do it right.
Yeah. Make it what people want, make it affordable, and make it so that you can have it as popular as you ever did. Because I remember staying in a hotel room in Birmingham, looking over the M5, and I could see every single third or fourth car is a Fiesta. I want it to be that popular.
Yeah.
I want Ford to do well. Ford actually have to do well. They need to, and I want to.
A Fiesta is a cheap and a fun car, and if you take rid of either of those two things, it's no longer a Fiesta, and it's just the blob.
Yeah, because it's electric, and because it's electric, it's going to weigh at least a ton as well, and it's going to be bigger as well, due to the safety standards we were talking about.
Electric cars around. You just
but the point of the Fiesta though is they're supposed to be light and sprightly and like it doesn't even have to be immensely powerful. Just have a 110 horsepower engine, but if it's light, it's very chuckable, like a chuckable car, I like to call it. And if I just wish, I hope as well, they make this new Fiesta electric, at least a chuckable car.
Well, we'll just have to find out. And maybe Ford can give us one of them and we can borrow one for the week.
That'd be very cool. Maybe we can take it. Maybe we shouldn't take it over the speed limit, though, as 3 million people have done in the UK, then?
Yeah. Wow. I'm sure Kai's one of those speeders, just he hasn't been caught.
Well, with my fucking Peugeot 208, the fastest I can go is 12, and that's with my engine revving, my 1.2 EcoBoost Stellantis engine.
Your box of nails.
That was your fault for buying a Peugeot. What can I say?
I didn't even have a choice. I had to, because, like, fun little story for the podcast. I had to move from Bristol to Worcester. Yes, I started to commute to Bristol because I work at as a mechanic. I'm not going to say for who, for reasons, but I work as a mechanic for. Yeah, I work as a mechanic for a very big car brand, 2 car brands, and I have to commute an hour each way to work. And yeah, like, I had to get a car within a week because that was the time we were going to be moving. So, and I just thought the 208 looked a little bit nice. The interior was quite nice, actually, now that I think about it. And I was like, you know what? I've got like 2 days left. It looks nice. I'll just buy it. And yeah, that car just makes me miss my old car, my Fiat 500. But anyway, yeah.
That
so,
says
yeah,
a lot
I
if a
can't
car
speed
can
in that
make
car.
you miss a Fiat 500.
Yeah. So
Hey, that Fiat 500 Twin Air was a fucking beautiful car. Well, not
No,
beautiful, but it was a
no.
very fun car. It was very chuckable. Do you know what? It's more powerful than my fucking Peugeot. Like, it's got
That's
that
because
Fiat
it's
89.
French.
That is true, yeah. And it just breaks all the time. But anyway, yeah, so I can't speed in my Peugeot, but apparently 3 million people can in their own cars. So please, explain.
Who you asking to explain? I haven't sped. Well, I haven't been caught.
no,
No.
Who's going to read the news?
Just reading 3 million Brits broke the speed limit last year with 1,500 passing 112, according to Volvo.
And I bet all of those 1,500 were in Birmingham or Bradford.
And I bet all those 1,500 as well have watched Top Gear as well. Because hear me out.
I don't think they've watched Top Gear. I think it's quite the opposite.
Northamptonshire police saw the greatest number of drivers exceeding 112, but they're also looking at London Metropolitan. So they're not really looking at. So I think it looks like the Southwest, where we're generally based. Where you
So this is normal then.
Unless you go to Devon, maybe.
Oh yeah, Devon is just like, yeah.
Devon. See, there's not that many speed cameras around Devon. In all fairness, like
That's what I'm saying. People might want to go.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to get caught for speeding, go to the Cotswolds and like.
No, sorry. We can't endorse that. You just definitely don't go to the Cotswolds.
Yeah,
no,
do
don't,
not go to the Cotswolds.
No, don't go in your Ford Fiesta or your Volkswagen Polo because you think that you can do 90 round a corner in a front wheel drive.
Just go in a Peugeot 208 because you won't be able to speed. There you go.
You
Some
wouldn't
consumer
get there in a
advice on this
Peugeot
podcast.
208. You wouldn't get there in a Peugeot 208. That's a problem, Kai.
You can leave the car there, Kai.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'll just leave I'll just walk along the road, but at least I won't be able to speed there. It'll be safer for the roads.
208s are safer for the roads because you won't be getting. Okay.
What's safer for the roads is a horse and cart.
What if the horse goes to sniff another horse's ass? Then it'll just be utter chaos on the road. We ain't going back to Victorian times,
I've seen that way that you drive. You basically sniff each other's ass, anyways.
Hey, that's not polite. No, I just like to overtake him.
No. I've seen the way that you drive. You can't get the power to overtake. What are you on about?
But I like to overtake, but I
The only way
can't.
that you can overtake is if the car is broken down, which means it's also a Peugeot.
That is true, and even then I might not be able to make it because I'll probably break down behind it and then sniff that person's ass.
Yeah, well, at least if you break down behind him, you can just go to the AA. It's 2 Peugeots, just send a tow truck.
Not fair enough. If it's a Peugeot truck, that would also break down.
So, what are we making then? In seriousness of more. So I'm
not surprised because you've got like all of Wales that's now gone to 20 mile an hour everywhere. You've got places like Bristol and London which are 20 mile an hour everywhere. People like, and also the fact that with modern cars they're so like not refined. Refined isn't the word, but they're built in a way where you can't feel speed. So everybody just casually does 40 and a 30. Which, like, in a car like mine, for example, with an exhaust on the back, I can hear if I'm doing 40, and I can also know that I'm doing 40 because I go through fuel quicker. Kai doesn't know what 40 feels like because he gets to 35 and breaks down. And James
I know what 4 feels like.
So you probably know, James, in your car that, like, the perception of speed is a whole lot different.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was going up the ring road, and let's just say I thought it was national speed limit. Turns out it was 50, and I couldn't tell the difference at all because the engine's
Yeah.
so smooth. You can't
Yeah.
tell. Yeah, there's no way knowing it. Without knowing that I was in like, because I obviously it's manual and I could wet the gears, and I was like, and then obviously I do look at my speed.
But also, if I can
when
imagine as
you
well.
consider when you consider most cars are now automatics, they're like, I got into the car with my auntie, who's now got a 24 plate Duke, which is an automatic. And like the fact that it just zoomed up to 30 like that, and then she just carried on going. It had all the speed warnings and everything, and she just carried on
Bing
ignoring
bong,
it.
bing bong, bing.
Yeah, because they think that the speed warnings are going to help, but it actually just turns people's ears off to actually listening to it and acknowledging it. So when it does matter, it doesn't. And
That's what I was going to try and chime in about, because you've got all these modern cars now, which are not great by any means, but they do have like a load of safety features, including like, you're going over 30 miles an hour, even like 1 mile an hour, it just constantly beeps at you. And I think just because of that, people are just, like you said, are just tired of hearing us. They're kind of like, shutting it off of their systems, and just like, because they don't really hear it in their heads anymore, they expect, oh, it could go faster and stuff. So if anything, I think these new safety features for the the speed limit warnings are just not really doing any favors.
no, they're not.
Okay.
And I think actually they're more of a hindrance. Plus, it's so easy to map them out. And
Yeah.
I mean, all that's done is just given people that map it out more business. So,
It's just giving them
yeah,
more
I guess
impatient. Yeah, it's just gotten people more impatient. Just like, oh, I can't deal with this and stuff. It just makes them want to speed more, if anything.
yeah, I mean, it's like one of the, I can't remember what car it was, but there was one car that I saw that was being reviewed, and you physically had to put your seatbelt on to move it. And I'm like, that's so impractical, because actually, how many people nowadays get stopped in the UK for not having a seatbelt? And it's quite low, because people have seen what happens if you don't wear a seatbelt and you have to listen to a bing bong every 5 minutes. Actually, physically not letting you take it out of park because you haven't put your seatbelt on is stupid. Because
Yeah.
it's not a really common thing over in this country, but like valeting, like when they take your car and go and park it elsewhere, they don't wear a seatbelt half the time because they're only driving like two minutes up the road. Or
Yeah.
they're even
Airport,
just
they
taking
do
it
that in
around a car
airports.
park.
But
Yeah,
they do
and
that
actually,
in airports.
Yeah, in an
Yeah.
airport. So now they're having to put the seatbelt on because they physically can't move. And actually, it doesn't tell you anywhere to do that to make the car move. So if someone's trying to drive the car for the first time, and like if it's in an airport, because the person that took it from you is going to be completely different to the person that brings it back to you in 2 weeks' time after you've finished your trip in Benidorm. They're not going to know how to drive it, so then it's just going to be stuck, and then they're going to assume it's broken down, recover it. You've got to pay the recovery fee, or because they don't know how to take it out of park because it's got a stupid thing on it that detects whether you got your seatbelt on or not.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
All I add to that with the seatbelts is I just remember a story. I'm not sure if it's like Turkey or Greece or somewhere over that way, and they're pretty crazy, the taxi drivers, and to stop. Like obviously, I guess with new cars it would be more of a problem. But what they do now, instead of having the seatbelt alarm go off, they just have one of those like things that you can buy that just clips into the seatbelts.
Oh, really?
So they get the thing and they just don't wear seatbelts, and they drive pretty damn fast. And almost all of their cars, all of their Dacia Logans have got they're 250,000 billion miles, and they've got the engine warning light on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what we're talking about, because like,
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it as well, like, it's kind of the same way you'd like tell a child to not, do something, yet they feel more inclined to do it because they're more interested in stuff. So
Yeah.
with these safety features, like, it just makes people more inclined to not do them, and I think that's the reason as well. We're just getting more like speed, like what was it, like
People getting annoyed at it.
Brits
They're getting
speeding.
annoyed.
Yeah, they're
People
getting
getting
annoyed,
annoyed and they're doing
yeah,
it
they-
in protest. They just don't
Yeah.
want it to be going on. So why would I listen to this bong? And the problem is it's not going to last for long, because from what I remember, the EU, I think it was Ford actually filed a patent to look at actually having speed limiting devices. So not just bongs, warnings, they will actually cap you to the speed limit, which I think is really unsafe, because if you ever needed to just gain a bit of speed to, I don't know, get out of a bad problem, what are you going to do?
Exactly,
Well,
or if
yeah,
you need to
I mean-
overtake someone, or if you're in a hurry, like, you can't do that. And do you know what? I think that's gonna make the speeds even worse, because people are gonna go to, like, third-party companies and then just get them to turn everything off, and then it'll just be back to normal.
As someone who did my driving lessons in a Fiesta in a Focus that had that speed limiting feature on it, it is good at some points, but it sucks because it reads speed limit signs, or it goes off of GPS data, which isn't always right. On the Portway, it got me doing 50 in a 30. So,
Oh, wow.
and that's got speed cameras on it, and I know that
Yeah, so you're still gonna get
if you were
caught.
to get so you're gonna get caught. So that's not gonna help you whatsoever. And then it was doing 20 in a 30. So yeah,
Yeah.
you could manually override it, but you had to give it the beans to override it, or just turn
And then
it
you
off
just go
outright.
rocketing off, and then they'll just catch you speeding anyway. So
Yeah.
I think with this, like, 3 million Brits, like, breaking the speed limit, I think it's mainly because of the amount of safety features that are in the cars that people are just, like, ignoring and refusing to, like, follow. And because I feel like if there was no, um like none of these pieces of technology, I feel like it's difficult to say, but I feel like I wouldn't be inclined to do it as much, because they don't, like, have a grudge against it. Like, yeah, I think that's what it is. That's my opinion anyway.
Should we talk about something that's a little bit more positive? Are we?
Yeah,
ready
okay,
to
let's talk
start?
something with a bit more speed input, like speed focused, if I could actually speak. Is because actually, did you want to do it, James? Because of the new
I'll
Toyota
go
and
for it if you want.
Lexus.
Yeah. The new GR-GT and the new Lexus LFA concept. No, more so the GR-GT. But holy shit, this is good. This is really good for petrol heads. I'm super happy with. If Toyota can keep this going. Sorry, I just look at that car and then just. It's amazing, isn't it? Come on. What do you think? I'm just going to say, I got no words for it, because how something like this can come out in 2025, 2026 is staggering to me. I'd love to know what your thoughts on the car is. I think it's great.
I
I think it
mean,
looks alright, actually.
Yeah. Oh no. All right. What are you having a laugh about? It looks magnificent. Both of them do. That
It
and the
does,
LFA.
yeah.
It is
The LFA
like
I haven't seen yet.
it's all sharp corners, and it's magnificent, and I would 100% buy one if I could afford one. It's
Yeah.
like
I-
they've obviously taken the idea from, like, the Supras and stuff like that, and then just made it look sharp and edgy and mean, and as long as it's not based off of a BMW, I don't care.
I think it is. I don't think it's got anything to do with BMW, so luckily on this
Good.
one. I think
Yeah.
completely owned, developed V8 as well. I think it's
Yeah,
first time we've
650
seen
horsepower, 850
First-
newton meters of torque.
first time we've seen a V8 in a Toyota for a very long time. Actually,
Yeah.
very very long time.
Probably
in fact,
the
if you
last
look at
time was
the-
like a Hilux.
No, I know what it. Well, not Toyota, but Lexus. Do you remember the was it the LS 500, the little 2-seat coupe? that is still
yeah.
I think, which is
Oh, yeah,
cool. I do like.
something like that, because I know they did something similar with the RCF.
Yep, and the RCF had it. But the thing is, those cars are now the RCF's 10 years old.
Yeah.
So it's quite
They've
a while.
got
But no,
a button on the website where you can listen to the engine sound, and it is just magnificent. And I will be sending it over to Kai to put into the recording, because
Oh, yeah.
everybody
You've
who
got-
is a car nerd will have James May's tingling feeling every time.
The fizz.
You'll
Yes,
get
the
Yeah.
fizz.
Yeah.
It's
Because I
like-
reckon,
Oh, go on.
like, even though I find the look of the car okay, it's not bad by any means, but I reckon this car's going to shake up the automotive world, because it's the first time in a while we've had something like this come about, a V8 supercar from, like, Toyota, like James was saying. But I feel like car companies now are going to try and start going back to their old ways, but in a modern way. And if they do it correctly, like Toyota has been doing, and Lexus, I reckon we could be in with a possibly bright future.
Yeah, I mean, I personally think this is companies like Toyota rebelling against the whole EV implementation bullshit. And they're just like,
Yeah.
why? Why do we need to when we can keep racing and we can keep sports cars alive? Because otherwise, the world's just going to be boring. Yeah, electric cars are quick and they have loads of torque, but nothing
There's no
sounds as
character.
good as a V8 roaring in your ear and deafening you.
The engagement from a slick 6-speed manual gearbox.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Well, Kai
definitely.
can't relate to
Apart
that.
from-
The gearbox in his Peugeot sucks.
Apart from actually, this isn't in the thing, but I do want to quickly mention the Hyundai Ioniq 5N, because yeah, that is an electric, very heavy hatchback, 600 horsepower. But I think it's the first ever electric car where they added in like a fake gearbox, which
Yeah, I remember that.
I know is gonna have mixed feelings, but in my opinion, I actually really like that.
I think that's great. The like synthetic sound that they use though is horrible. It sounds like something pulled out of Roblox.
I do agree, it is very artificial, that sound, but if they just improved the sound but kept the gearbox, I think that would be a pretty good electric car. So I think the future, which will look good, is like with that new Toyota as well, or if they have to make electric cars, at least make it feel and go like a petrol car with a manual, like, flappy paddle gearbox or something. That might be fake, but it gives the experience a bit more character, because we don't want the electric car world to be boring, do we?
No.
Well, no,
I get-
because that's what's going to keep it going.
It's innovation for that, which will help. I remember seeing one in person. I actually seen an Ioniq 5N in person, and it is huge as hatchbacks go. And I think it's, what is it like? It's over 2 tons. So
Yeah.
you just go back to Kai's thing about chuckability, which I love as a word, chuckability of a car. I know that even the GT, I mean, let's not compare that. Let's think of a better car to compare. I mean, there is no cars in that segment of like how big the car is that are going to have 600 horsepower. That's the one thing of electric that you're going to get. I just worry that, as I said, for me, driving Focus, the horsepower 0 to 60 times, I don't focus on that. I don't look at that. I want to look at a review when someone says, "Oh, the steering is unbelievable." Take, I don't know, even like a Z3 or a Z4
Yeah.
BMW.
Yeah.
I think they're a bit heavier, but nowhere near as heavy as this. And they've got a straight 6 engine and a manual gearbox.
I've driven one of those, actually. I've driven I think it was 2005. It was very old, but I've driven a 2005 BMW Z4 with the straight 6 petrol engine from like the M Sport cars. And that's just such a completely different driving experience from that Peugeot. Because my Peugeot's petrol and is also a Peugeot, but just it's the lightness you can feel, isn't it? Because it doesn't even have to have that much power, but it's the lightness that gets you, because it just feels more like we were talking about with the Fiesta. It's just chuckable. It feels more fun. It's got more character, and the engine noise is godly.
It is amazing. But yeah, I'll bring it back to the GRGT.
Yeah.
I think this is an excellent step from Toyota. Yeah, they're definitely rebelling, as Ben said, against the the common electric sort of market. I think we'll move on to the and they've also got a GT3 car, which if you can add an edit as well, I think it's just stunning. It's great.
It looks like something that your dad's put together in the garage, but it will outperform absolutely everything.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
It kind of looks like a Lego car, in all fairness.
Yeah, I can kind of see that a bit. I'm going to try and find the new LFA, which I believe is electric, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't know how to, if I'm honest, if with the new LFA potentially going electric, I don't know how to feel about that, if I'm honest.
I would still have one, because I know that Lexus can build a magnificent car.
Yeah, it is true, yeah, and it's got the LFA name, but nothing can compare to the old V10 LFA from like 2012?
Well, yeah, if
Like
I could
that
choose
thing.
between this and the V10, then I'd have the V10, but if I choose between this and your Peugeot, I'd choose this.
Oh yeah, obviously everyone is going to choose the LFA over my fucking Peugeot. Look at the argument as well.
I'd just choose a Lexus in general. If I could afford one, I'd have a Lexus, because they are just magnificent and they're beautiful. And
That means you're going to be playing golf soon then.
Yeah, probably. even the SUVs that they make, in all fairness, they are beautifully designed. and
They
I
are
wouldn't,
not
I wouldn't buy
bad.
one.
Yeah,
They
They're
do
not
look
bad.
good.
They look for an SUV. They look amazing because everybody else just
Yeah.
copies Range Rover.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that like
exactly.
JQ and stuff, and this and another Chinese. But we'll get into that later. Like we'll do like Range Rover rip-offs on another episode. But yeah, they are good looking, but they just got a golf whiff about them. Like I know it sounds like me just quoting Top Gear, but it is true though. Like a load of people who go golfing choose Lexuses.
Well, I haven't
I
got the
can't.
hand-eye coordination for golf, so I'll go take something else up instead.
I also I can't see someone playing golf for how expensive, or how this Lexus looks and how expensive this one is. I think this one's going
Yeah.
to be stupidly expensive. They're going to have
That's fair
their
enough.
they're going
It's
to play
just
golf.
yeah,
They'll
it's just their
they'll be playing on their
reputation,
own
if you know what I
pace.
mean.
Yeah. So I think going back to the car, I've heard a lot of people say I think it should have been called like the EFA, as electric, whatever. I can't remember what LFA stands for now.
I think there was just three random letters.
I think it did have a meaning, but anyway, you can look at if you scroll through the pictures. I might be looking at the press release right
Lexus
now.
Future Advance.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the press website for it. Yeah, LFA cons. Oh, Lexus Future Advance. Okay. There we go.
Okay.
So
That's
I guess,
something new
but
that I
then,
didn't know about.
I guess you could. In some ways, I actually think I'm kind of glad they kept the LFA name because the LFA, the first generation one, is so rare and so prestige that if it's Lexus Future Advance, this is also Lexus Future Advance, but we're now 15 years, 16 years down the line.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. This is going to
So-
be the future, whether we like it or not. Electric will become the future, but it will. We just need to stop it from being all the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I-
I just hope
I-
they don't
there's-
cock it up like Ford are doing with their cars, with their old names. I just hope they don't cock it up. That's all I hope for.
I personally really like this. This is a it's a pretty stunning car, I would say. This new LFA. As much as I don't, but then I got to taken away the battery element, which wasn't always there. That wasn't been their decision. They've had to force their hand for it. If it obviously
Yeah.
didn't need electric, let's say that we didn't have all the problems we have with it, they would have probably slapped the 5-litre V10 in there. Do you know they would have done?
Oh yeah,
So-
definitely.
Yeah.
So
well, the
I
thing is, with
yeah.
like car companies and stuff like that, they have to do a certain amount of their cars have to be good for the environment or whatever, because that's like where
Yeah, they
the
do,
stupid Aston Martin little fucking smart car thing spawned from.
the Signet,
Oh,
yeah,
the
I
Signet,
remember.
yeah.
Yeah, because they had to do something that was environmentally friendly to outweigh all their stupid cars. So they're making the GRGT, but actually now they're going to make this electric one to outweigh it. So it's probably
Yeah.
part of the justification, seeing as when you go on the GRGT's website, it talks about the LFA. So
They're
my
all
guess
released in
is
tandem anyway, so
yeah, they're linked and they have to do one to outweigh the other, and it was a decision on whether they made the Toyota the screaming V8 or whether they made the LFA a V8, even though it's always been a V10. And V8
Yeah.
isn't exact.
That moves us very nicely on to the last petrol and diesel Jaguars that are rolling off the production line. That was in November 2025.
yeah, I remember that they have done.
Yeah, the final Jag.
Final Jag.
Before it becomes a Jag.
Yeah, but the problem
Yeah,
is
so-
people who drive Jags don't want electric. Because
Oh,
people
no.
who drive Jags are in their 60s or their 70s. And we all know that old people don't like change. So I don't understand what their point is and where they're going with this. Well, I do. They're making an even worse fuck up than Ford, is what they're doing.
Yeah, and we have got to talk about this. The Type 00. We have got to talk about this.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
that stupid ugly one, wasn't it?
Yeah. The one that was at the Miami art show in Miami.
Yeah, it looks absolutely horrific, and it is
It's like-
sacrilege to a British brand.
It is literally like if Jaguar and a Cybertruck. It's like if the F-Type and a Cybertruck gave birth to a mistake, and it was the Type 00.
Yeah, see, no, because the Cybertruck at least has something that people can laugh at. This is just a blob with 4 wheels and
Yeah, and
fake doors.
yeah, and do you know
I
what as well? I had some little information as well. Apparently, I know what the interior of the new 00 is going to be made out of.
What's it going to be made out of?
Vegan leather.
It's 3D printed.
So it'll creak at every corner, which is what electric cars do anyways.
Yep.
So
And it'll
There's no
flicker
luxury.
away, and like eventually, like, with all the like 3D printing, like pieces, it'll just flicker away, and it'll be very hard and uncomfortable.
It's
Yeah.
just what you want for a like a what's it? Probably, let's be honest, it's going to be what, £400,000 luxury flip flop.
Yeah, because I think their main problem as well is not only have they mucked up on the looks and trying to claim that there's part of their history, which is absolute bullshit, but also
how is that?
it's their
part of
competitors.
history?
I've
Yeah.
no idea either, but they said it was part of their heritage and being different and was always part of their heritage, like trying something different, like copy nothing. By the way, that advert, just quickly, fucking awful. But also, like, I think the main problem as well is that they're trying to compete with completely different car brands now. Because remember, they were like trying to compete with BMW and Mercedes, like back in the day, and Audi even.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
The
but
problem
now,
is that people are trying to compete with each other and actually just do your own thing.
yeah, exactly, and they're now trying to compete with, not my words, but they're trying to compete with Bentley and Rolls-Royce now.
Well,
Which
they've already lost.
Oh, yeah, they've already lost in that aspect of the looks and also the interior. Because I mean, for Pete's sake, if the interior is going to be 3D printed, if you look at a Bentley and Rolls Royce, they're not exactly 3D printed, are they?
No,
The
but
complete
you
opposite
also
of that.
like the interior of what they've shown in their concepts is just there's nothing in it, and when you get inside of a Bentley or a Rolls Royce, there is everything in it. Everything that you could possibly want is there.
And it feels like an actual
And-
stately home as well, like proper luxury. Like,
Yeah.
some people would say they're a bit too jinxy, but it's better than like ultra minimalism with like nothing on, like Tesla nowadays.
Yeah, but it could look so much more magnificent because you could just look at taking like an F-Type or something like that and just literally making it long wheelbase, and it would sell so much more.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I even did. Like, I was actually so like mixed on this. I actually made my own Jaguar concepts. I'll put them up on the edit. But and yes, they are AI made, but that's because I made certain prompts, and it's just an idea of what you can get. But my concepts were like go if they have to be electric, fine, but no need for 1,000 horsepower. Like, for Pete's sake, like, I've never known a Jaguar that has 1,000 horsepower, and it's not a point of a Jag. It's just supposed to be like a Grand Tourer. But yeah, if I was design leader, which by the way has just been fired recently, which is also something.
Yeah.
I would just create just 3 types of their cars. So I'd create like the supercar, which I like to rename the XK, so bringing back the original name whilst also looking like an XK. The XJ, the massive 4-door saloon, like for the really luxury stuff, and the F-Pace, or what I like to call the XF, like the F for the F-Pace, but it just makes everything a lot simpler, and it'll be the SUV equivalent. And you'll see some of the pictures that I posted. Like, I want them to look like modern versions of their old counterparts, but in a way that's still unique. And I even did like remastered their logos as well, because you've seen their new logos, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, like, what font?
Yeah, like for fuck's sake, what is the deal with the upside down J and the normal J? That's just like, I could just draw that in 6 seconds
And they
Just
probably
want
paid
to
£2.5 million for it.
for 2 J's. Yeah, exactly. It's not exactly great.
Get on MS Paint. That's what you got to do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They probably did MSP. Well, because they're on such a budget nowadays, with the amount of cars they previously weren't selling, they probably had to use MS Paint.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's just-
I don't. I have no idea what they. I'm glad that they kept the pouncing Jaguar, but I don't think that's going to be showing a lot on that car anyway. But I have, however, seen some concept images, because the 4-door saloon that they're currently test driving like right now. like the XJ replacement or something, like in the black and white camo.
think
Like,
it's-
yeah, I've seen like that car, not in person, but I've seen pictures of that camo car and some concept images. Although it looks a lot better than the Type 00, it's still not like a Jag to me. I'm sorry, it's not a Jag.
I think
It's
that's
just
what
like
they want.
another.
I think that's what they want. I think they want to get rid of that. But they want to move. They want to move around that brand. They want to. They don't want anything to do with that brand. I actually know a motorbike company that did very similar. But obviously we're not a bike show. But Norton did that. They used to make really nice like racer bikes, and now they look like just generic sports like super bikes with like looks like Tron. It's just really
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah,
Oversimplification.
I reckon. Yeah, I
I-
understand why Jaguar are trying to be different. I understand that, but don't go too far of being like too different for just the sake of it. At least keep a little bit of that heritage. Like, I don't know. Like, I am a
What's your
Jag
take on it,
man,
Ben?
but the new Jags, are really not my taste. And also, it's a shame they've released the last petrol and diesel car, which means they are going to go full electric as well.
What's your take on it, Ben?
I just think they're trying to kill the Jag brand. In all fairness, I just think that they don't.
Well,
It's-
I don't think they're trying to
yeah,
kill it.
it's-
I think they're trying to redo it into like, you know, a fashion brand more like, because like like with the logos we were talking about, it's less car related and more just fashion, like with the gold, and with that copy nothing advert, right? They didn't show any of the cars there, but they had like really extravagant outfits and like makeup and all that kind of stuff. So I feel like they're just trying to go for more of a fashion design route and more expensive stuff rather than just like, you know, the Gentleman's Express kind of, you know, very suave kind of, you know, V8 kind of luxury cars that they used to do.
Well, they've gone with copy nothing, and yet all they've done is copy a Rolls Royce.
Well, they copied a Rolls Royce, but you know they just did a 6-second sketch of a Rolls Royce and not a full on copy.
Well, yeah, but it's still copied, so it kind of defeats the whole point of it.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I know we've gone off a bit with the last petrol and diesel Jags, but we had to talk about this new Jag because I do not understand what is currently going through with their heads at the minute. I do not understand it. But let's move on to some more positive news. Tesla has now officially lost the title of the world's biggest electric car vehicle maker. Straight
That's
away,
positive
before we even
news.
read into anything, that's good. I'm glad. The Nazi has been toppled.
I don't think it's no, it's not good because BYD is the people that have taken the crown, and that is China's dominance within the UK increasing yet again. And
Yeah,
we're
but at
slowly
least
losing
BYD's
these
a lot better
cars.
than Tesla.
No, they're on the same level. They are both as bad as each other, and it's not going to be something that it should be a British car brand, or it should be at least a German car brand that takes over, not a Chinese car brand that just makes slop.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that is true, but at least their CEO doesn't like. At least their CEO doesn't do Nazi salutes, so that's a good
That we
sign.
know
At least
of.
we're like that. Well, that we know of so far. And also, I just really hate Elon Musk. I'm sorry to just put it bluntly, but I really hate the guy. Like we always do with Grok and like, you know, the Nazi thing and Tesla. I'm just glad that Tesla's not the biggest thing anymore. I don't care if another Chinese brand is bigger now. I'm just glad Tesla's off.
They were the pioneers.
Yeah.
As well, really, you could say Tesla with the
Because
Roadster
thanks
back
to
in 2008.
Yeah, because thanks to Musk as well, like from in 2025 they sold like 1.64 million vehicles, which is still a lot, but compared to the previous year, it was down by 9%. So they're selling less cars and earning less money. So I feel like that is still going to keep going, whilst BYD either will stay the same or will increase. Only time will tell, really.
Yeah, I think it will. I think it will increase. I think seeing the Chinese manufacturers taking over the EV markets will continue to increase as well because they are cheap, cheerful. You could buy them on PCP for 3 years, and that's what people are doing now. Everybody's just buying a car on finance rather
Don't
than
buy it outright.
actually like, you know, saving up, spending money, buy a second-hand car. A second-hand car will last you a lot longer. Yeah, you don't have all the fancy features, and you don't have a number plate that says 75 on it. But actually, in the grand scheme of things, you're going to have a car that says whatever it does on the number plate for a lot longer. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind. Well, I don't want a new car. I wouldn't want to drive a new car, but I would quite happily drive a second-hand EV.
Yeah.
I mean, I was even looking at the Nissan Leaf, in all fairness, because it's like three and a
I
half.
was looking at a
4 grand.
Polestar too.
Yeah, well, Polestar 2, you're still looking at like 15-20 grand. I'd
Yeah.
still have one of those if I could afford one, but like a Nissan Leaf, you can buy for like 3.5-4 grand. It gets you from A to B. Yeah, it only probably has a range of like 100 miles. But for people who are literally going to work and back, 100 miles would last me a week. So it's a charge a week,
yeah.
which is a lot cheaper than a tank of petrol every 2 weeks. And it's just, I don't even think my engine gets that warm by the time I get to work, in all fairness. And
Well, I can't say
driving-
the same for me.
well, yeah, no, for the same for you. Well, it's Persia, it'll overheat anyways. But yeah, like I do short trips, and yeah, I do go like on holidays and stuff like that, and that's why I haven't bought a Nissan Leaf. But if I didn't do those things and I just needed one for short commutes, I would 100% just buy a Nissan Leaf, because they
Fair enough.
are they're like driving around Bristol as we do. It's either roadworks everywhere, like I just complained about, or it's traffic lights everywhere. And my commute to work
Yeah.
probably involves about 52 traffic lights and roundabouts and stuff like that. So you're constantly like stopping and starting, and it's a lot better. You got a lot easier rolling resistance from an EV than what you do from a Mazda, like an internal combustion engine. And my
Yeah.
car sees first and second gear more times than it sees anything else.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it just, my car doesn't get the blowout that it properly needs until I do a motorway journey, which at the moment is rare because I just go to work and back.
Yeah.